I'll begin with the central word, the key word, which is unity. The Baha'i faith is based on unity. So what does that mean? Baha'is believe that, in a sense, in a very powerful sense, all religions come from the same source. And what we perceive as completely different and separate religions are all, in a sense, aspects of the same thing. That these religions were revealed and created at different times in ways that would make sense to the period and the place where they were happening. But in essence, the message is the same. And Baha'is believe that each religion was generated by a central figure, people we know as Jesus and Muhammad and Moses and Buddha, Krishna. We believe the most recent of these divine teachers was Baha'u'llah, who lived in the 19th century and began the Baha'i faith. Mm-hmm. So to me, the Baha'i faith means that I can believe in God, but my belief can embrace all of humanity. Social practices, Baha'is have a strong sense, I would have to say, of morality, of honesty and trustworthiness. Justice is an important principle in the Baha'i faith, and the equality of men and women is important for us. It's written into our scriptures. We have daily prayers, which are scriptural prayers. They're given to us by Baha'u'llah. Rituals, you mentioned, which is an interesting point because we really don't have them. Baha'i faith is pretty simple. We pray every day. We pray individually. When we pray as groups, it's one person at a time. There's no pastor, no priest, nothing, no special clothes or anything like that. Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Baha'is definitely believe in an afterlife, that the soul is eternal. And we believe that the concept of heaven and hell is essentially a metaphor, that the purpose of life, if you will, is for us to grow closer to God. That means in this world and in the next world. And metaphorically speaking, becoming closer to God is, you could say, is heaven. And being removed from God, you could say, is hell, in this world or in the next world. They're not physical places, and they're not a sort of permanent status. No, I didn't. I discovered the Baha'i faith when I was in my late 20s. And I investigated it quite carefully, which is kind of a requirement to become a Baha'i. You're expected to independently investigate and make your own decision. So I spent a couple years doing that and decided to become a Baha'i. It's a big influence. Again, it's what can I say? The life I lead is pretty conventional. I don't have any special clothes or eat special foods or live in any special place. But in terms of my thinking and the principles I live by, what I strive for in my life, my family, it's very important to me. Yes, the Baha'i communities, we simply meet in each other's houses. We sort of take turns because our community is very small. And that's true in a lot of towns, in a lot of cities. There's not a lot of emphasis on temples or places of worship. However, they exist. Bigger cities like Philadelphia or Washington, they have a Baha'i center, which is simply a building where people can meet. The temples, though, or houses of worship, are very special. At this point, there's one on every continent. And in North America, it's north of Chicago, in the city of Wilmette. It's a very, very beautiful building. I've been there several times. There's another one now in Panama. There's one being built in Chile. It is magnificent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they all resemble it in some ways in that they all are round and have doorways on every side, which kind of symbolically means open to all, in all directions. Yes, it is growing, and growing at different rates in different places. I'm not up on all the statistics. I think the areas of greatest growth now are perhaps in India and Africa, perhaps South America as well. Yes, you know, Baha'is don't have, we don't proselytize as such. No one is ever pressured to become a Baha'i. And, you know, we don't have the sort of missionary tradition. But Baha'is do live as an international community. We're very widespread. And wherever we are, we let it be known, you know, who we are and what we believe, and people are attracted. Well, that's a kind of a sad story. They are not treated well at all. And it sounds like you've researched this. The Baha'i faith began in Iran, and the Baha'is were persecuted quite brutally from the start, from the mid-19th century, off and on until the present time. Many Baha'is are imprisoned. They are denied the right to education. They have all kinds of I mean, their marriages are not recognized. They're not allowed into many professions. It's a very systematic persecution. It's a very difficult situation. Well, just to be clear, I didn't start the Baha'i community here. There has been a Baha'i community in Newcastle County and in Newark for, I don't know, probably close to 80 years, maybe, long before I came. But my involvement has been through the university. At times we have had a pretty strong, vibrant group of Baha'i students, and we've had a Baha'i club. I've served as their advisor. In that capacity, I served on the University Religious Leaders Organization. So that's kind of where I am. I'm kind of the point person on campus for the Baha'i faith. There are other Baha'i instructors and professors. I don't have any special status. It's just I'm the one doing it now. Well, I hope so. One never really knows. You know, these things can tend to go in cycles or waves, where there'll be a very strong contingent of Baha'i students, and then they graduate, and then we have none, and then more come. So yes, I'm hopeful for the future.